Welcome in this Tuesday morning edition Oxford Exxon Podcast. If I get my microphone to do what I want it to do. Here with you today, Chase Parham, Neal, McCready. We'll talk some football. The college football season is over, and frankly, it was over a week ago because last night was a bloodletting. Georgia 65, TCU 7. It was 10-7 at one point, but the Bulldogs, I think, scored on 5 of the first 6 possessions, something like that, on the route to their second consecutive national title. So we'll put some things around that game, around college football in general, probably some NFL today. I read up on Trevor Bauer yesterday, as Neal teased. So that and more coming up on today's show. A show brought to you every day, Oxford Exxon. Again, in our 10th year with Ben Craddock and the Oxford Exxon. Appreciate those guys every single day. And you need to head over, show your support. You've done that forever. We really appreciate it. Lunch specials, they change every single weekday. You get something different. Also ribs at night, hot case, chicken dessert, sides, and much more there at the Blue Sky location in Oxford and up and down I-55 and throughout North Mississippi as well. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford studio.
We are indeed. Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900 is that number. Call it. Ask for our friend Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours, right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote. The rest, completely up to you. You can shop it around. You can do what I've done. I recommend that you do. Let's get into a Clark Ford today. You will love the product. You'll absolutely love the service. Corey and the people at Clark Ford want to be your car guy. They want to be your truck guy. They'll prove it to you when you make the call. 662-257-1900.
What?
That's it.
Okay.
Oh, I should say our guest will join us on the myperfectfranchise.net hotline. Myperfectfranchise.net. Let me get down to that. I wasn't super prepared this morning. I should have been, but I wasn't. If you're a displaced corporate executive, or you're wanting to put your career in your own hands, or you're an experienced entrepreneur wanting to diversify, Andy Ledecky can help. It's a longtime franchise veteran. He owns multiple franchises and businesses. He uses his expertise to help others find their American dream through a very thorough and free consultation process. So call Andy, put your life and career in your own hands. It's 100% free. You got nothing to lose. Find your perfect franchise at myperfectfranchise.net. You can contact Andy anytime at andy@myperfectfranchise.net or at 404-973-9901. A lot of you have reached out to Andy. Several of you have become franchise owners because of that relationship. So it works. That's his cell number. You can call it and take it from there.
Also, what we're doing that, added a Tulane helmet to the studio today. Appreciate Banks, Shepard, and those guys at Tulane for that. I don't have it set up anywhere. We'll figure it out, but I did bring it in this morning.
They can kind of see it behind you.
Yeah. It's a game-used helmet from the 2022 season, so Cotton Bowl champions there. Willie Fritz signed the helmet. I saw that last night. Ole Miss, next year on the road, they face the Sugar Bowl champions, the Cotton Bowl champions, and the national champion.
It is not a friendly schedule.
It is not the best schedule in the world, is it?
Nope. I've tried to tell people that. It's why I think the next 12 months are more about setting yourself up for 2024.
Yeah.
I mean, just to be real,
enjoy the year, but 2024 is the one where you go, oh, wow. Okay.
Well, you should.
Yeah.
And if you're not, that's when you have to take a step back and reevaluate and go, what did we do wrong?
Yeah.
Because Ole Miss isn't going to the playoff next year. I mean, I know that's not the popular thing in today's media is to be objective. Everybody's just straight homers now, but they're not. I mean, if you look around the SEC, how many teams from the SEC have a legitimate shot next year to go to a 14 playoff?
Move our potato up just a touch. Typically, you're the one that's a little OCD, but for whatever reason today, it's affecting me.
I mean, Georgia, Alabama, maybe LSU. That's probably it. That have a shot next year to go to a 14 playoff. Everybody else is kidding themselves. And so it's about positioning yourself for 2024 when there's a 12-team playoff.
Because the problem is in the SEC, you don't even have like the TCU ability to kind of play through the Big 12 where there's not the behemoth. You know what I mean? Yep. Like TCU's path was very fun and interesting and all those things, but they they didn't have Goliaths in the way. There weren't issues.
Yeah.
Because for Ole Miss to make the playoff next year, you either have to beat Georgia in Athens or lose to no one else and then beat Georgia in the SEC championship game. You can't have 2 losses.
Right. So you got to either win.
You got to beat them one of those times and lose to no one else.
And you play Alabama.
Yeah. I'm just saying that's even because look, here's the thing: Alabama is very beatable compared to Georgia next year. Georgia's the new Alabama. I'm not saying Alabama. I'm not saying Ole Miss is going to beat Alabama, but if you said, "Hey, they're going to win one of those," I don't even think about it. I go, "Oh, well, they beat Alabama. Good job."
Sure, of course,
they're gettable relative to Alabama.
Yeah, relative to what you saw from Georgia.
Yeah,
both. I mean, look,
Alabama's not going to be amazing next year. It'll be good. Again, it's relative.
We'll see.
I don't expect this though. Rolling ball, as you put it. I mean, I
got a feeling the dude that last night was sitting in a teal sport coat. I got a feeling he's already up and at him this morning. And here's my hot take.
All right, go ahead.
Here's my hot take. Not even a hot take.
Yeah.
It's not a hot take. There's a temptation, and I watched everybody in college football last night get all up in their feels.
About what?
Everything. Number one, they were pissed off that the game was a blowout. Number two, they know what they saw. Sometimes you know what you saw.
Real quick, somebody asked this question. Missouri is Ole Miss's 2024 East opponent.
Okay.
So Vanderbilt and Missouri are on the schedule for the Rebels in 24.
It's as good as you can ask for.
At home, by the way.
When everybody goes, the league hates you. You get Vanderbilt every year.
Yeah, just again, you make your point real quick. Ole Miss's 2024 schedule. Again, I don't know dates. The hell with that, whatever. Furman, Middle Tennessee, Wake Forest, Georgia Southern, Arkansas, LSU, Alabama, Auburn State, Missouri, A&M, Vanderbilt.
It's literally as much as you could ask for.
Road games are A&M, Vanderbilt, but they play Vanderbilt at the Titans Stadium, not
whatever.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
If that's not a win, the rest of it's really immaterial.
LSU and Arkansas.
I mean, your toughest road games are A&M and LSU. I mean, there's no such thing as an easy SEC schedule, although Georgia sort of raises its hand and says, look at us next year. What I was going to say was I watched everybody get up in their feels last night. It was interesting. And people do the default thing well. Georgia just bought. They bought this. No, it runs deeper than that, champ. It's deeper than that. And we can do, yes, that's part of it. Unlimited resources, commitment. Watch that dude on the sideline. Watch his pregame. Watch his midgame.
He has grown as a coach in so many ways.
Big time. Get the audio of his pregame speech. Look at the demeanor of that team. And we can take little shots at TCU. Georgia was going to beat the shit out of anybody they played last night.
They would have hammered Michigan.
They'd have hammered Alabama. They'd have hammered Michigan. They'd have hammered anybody that's not have an NFL insignia on them. So be cool with the TCU stuff. We saw something last night. He's grown as a coach. They've grown as a program. And that cat last night, literally minutes after that game was over, you could see in his mind turning the page.
What is that?
I don't know.
Is it an alarm or a cat?
Kind of sounded like a cat.
Okay.
He was turning the page last night. He was talking about his 10-year-old son crying about Stetson Bennett being done. And then his answer was pretty damned interesting. Yeah, they recruit a bunch of elite talent. They do. But then once you get in there, it's culture. He talked about how we eat off the floor.
He did.
And if you talk to anybody who's around that program, and I have, they do.
Said their number one goal as a program is no entitlement, no matter what.
I didn't see any entitlement.
Well, and he's hit a really good mix. And look, college kids especially, you have to motivate in the right way. You can't coach everybody the same. You got to be a bunch of different people all at one time as a college head coach, no matter the sport. And he did two things last night at the same time. He convinced them, as they were, that we're the best team in the country. We're not being hunted. We're going to dominate our teams, the team we play 13 times, And he also found a way in some hellaciously strange way of finding a way to get a chip on their shoulder at the same time.
Yeah.
Which takes
He's damn good.
Takes something.
He's damn good.
He was not great at the beginning of his career as a program manager like that. He's become one of the best in the country. He's grown.
Yes.
He was fairly weak as an on-field coach early in his tenure. And
he's figured it out.
Yeah.
He's a relentless worker. That's what he is. And look, and I know people think I'm throwing shade. I'm not. I'm just being honest. You want to win in this league now? You've seen it. Saban dominated for, 15 years?
Yeah.
And now we've got this cat. And Saban's not gone. I mean, this.
Yeah, no, don't understand. I mean, if Alabama wins a title in the next 2 years, I'm not shocked here, guys.
You want to win in this league, you have to. It goes deeper than this is my criticism of Kiffin, and so I won't even do the shade. I'll just go straight up. When Kiffin keeps doing the NIL thing, it's all NIL, it's all NIL. That is a cop out. It's deeper than that. It's deeper than that. You've got to go recruit relentlessly. There was a YouTube clip that got put out last night. A reminder where Kirby Smart was talking about it. This was pre-titles. About you have to recruit. You just have to recruit constantly. That's what he does, and he got that from Saban.
He did.
Who's the same way. They've built an absolute juggernaut. You look at that schedule for them next season, hard to find L's.
There's not much there.
I mean, they're preseason number 1. They'll be preseason number 1. They should be preseason number 1. Their toughest game next season is at Tennessee. Fairly late in the year.
Georgia's 2023 schedule: UT Martin, Ball State, South Carolina, UAB, Auburn, Kentucky, Vanderbilt, Florida, Missouri, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Georgia Tech.
You could argue Missouri and Ole Miss are the toughest, other than Tennessee, games on the schedule, and both of those games are in Athens.
They are.
Missouri and Ole Miss will be double-digit dogs.
South Carolina's in Athens.
I mean,
come on.
Come on. Right.
Their road games: Auburn, Vanderbilt, Jacksonville, and Tennessee.
Tennessee. I mean, the only game that you look at and go, well, maybe, is Tennessee. That's it.
It really is.
I mean,
that's all.
They've built a beast.
Here's what's college football is in an interesting spot because you have Georgia doing what it's doing right now. 2 in a row, played for 3 of the last 6, something like that.
I mean, they are a fingernail from being 3-time champs right now.
They got to figure out the quarterback situation. They will.
Well, they've got like 3 5-star studs competing for it.
But where college football, this is something we'll talk about throughout the offseason, is interesting, is that, and again, stay with me here. Most teams realistically going into the year aren't going, our goal, our number one, the only thing that makes it feasible to have a good year is to win the national title.
Of course.
So in saying that, if your goal is not necessarily to be the best team in the country, there's a lot of congealed teams you can run up and be pretty good at because college football does have parity outside of that 1 or 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you understand what I'm saying here?
Uh-huh.
It's an interesting thing because if we're going, hey, this thing is stupid, the sport sucks because you can't win the title because of Georgia or Ohio State or Alabama, okay, great. If you're going, hey, you can't be top 7, why not?
Sure.
There's an outlet to get there.
Yeah.
And to have seasons and good seasons and all those different things.
Well, you filled in on 10 Weekend Thoughts one time and you tried to rank the SEC and you realized after you got past like 2, from like 3 to 11.
There's an argument anyway. Yeah, sure.
Like, I don't know, throw them in a hat. I don't think that's necessarily bad for the sport. What a lot of people call mediocrity might just be a collection of teams that are all kind of equally good.
And now here's the deal too. And there is a little bit of recency bias here, but it's deserved. Georgia almost lost to Missouri.
It did.
They can have a bad day throughout a season and somebody get them.
Sure.
That's very, very possible.
Sure.
Now, are they going to do it twice where they're out of the season? Probably not. But
No,
It's not out of the realm. It's somebody just gives them a game one day, and it comes down to 5 minutes, and we'll all see what happens.
Yeah, upsets happen. But you've got to catch them completely.
You got to catch them at that game.
Zoned out, and you got to be ready to roll.
If they're locked in, it is what it is.
And it typically happens away from home,
It
not
does.
home.
Yeah, sure.
They
get energized back.
They were human, and they took Missouri lightly. And got into a game.
Yeah, Ole Miss does get them the week before Tennessee. Help a little.
Yeah, I mean,
if I'm playing them, I want to play them early where they don't have the quarterback dialed in. I don't want them late.
No, I don't want them late where they're starting to chase the title. I want to catch them when they're still maybe a little full of themselves. But look, again, the point is not looking into, at least for me, is not looking into next season and going week by week. The point is to look at what they've built culturally. It runs deeper than just, hey, yeah, well, they got the best players. It's deeper than that. And everyone's got to figure that out because you fall into their trap if you go, well, they just bought the best players. Because it's not just that.
They're doing that and they're running a machine.
Yeah, they've built the culture.
Yeah.
In a sport that more and more is going to be about the culture you build with all of the turnover.
Ooh.
With all of the change that comes from graduation, and now guys have used the COVID year. You're going to have teams get younger all of a sudden. I mean, they just had a 25-year-old quarterback walk off the field for the last time. But it runs deeper than all of that. It is culture. It is the ability for a head coach after winning a national semifinal game to essentially, with his quarterback sitting right there, call him out. I mean, if you were paying attention in the immediate aftermath of the Ohio State game, you just took Georgia and laid whatever against TCU. You knew, okay, that was the shot. When the kid for Ohio State shanked the field goal, that was it. It was over. If you paid any attention at all to Kirby Smart
he's got
and
10
Georgia,
days to get them.
This is not going to go well. If the plane lands safely in L.A., This is over. And it was. And that's culture. I mean, I was kind of laughing at it, looking at it last night. I'm like, man, these young guys are putting plays on film and probably making some mistakes.
Yeah.
And they're going to get like 3 days. And then this thing's going to get rolling again. Like their first January 5th quarter workout, may God have mercy. I'm just telling you, you watch. You're going to set a tone. Day one, going to be ugly. Be buckets everywhere. You watch. I'm just telling you. That's the lesson that everybody's got to take from this.
There is no throne. You don't.
That's his first thing. He's talking 10 minutes after a championship about entitlement and eating off the floor. That was a message to anybody and everybody who wants to be in that air. You have to do two things. You've got to raise the resources to get those kinds of players, and then you've got to build the culture around those players.
It's his version of what Saban has done for so long, which is, hey, sometimes you wait your turn, you work, you do everything I say, and then you get your reward. But we're here.
Yep. And he said that to them last night.
Yeah, you're locked in here, and then you get
his pregame
spoils down the road.
His pregame speech was essentially, I put you guys through 10 days of hell. Now you get to go have fun.
Yeah. Put it on them.
Yeah. I mean, Holly Rowe, who, by the way, does a fantastic job, says to him, what's your message? It was essentially attack.
Yeah.
Relentless.
Yeah.
Aggressive. I think
that was the word. Aggression. Yeah.
Aggression. And he had that look in his eyes like, oh, dude. Somebody's having a rough night. It's either going to be TCU having a rough night or his kids, good Lord, are going to want to stay in California when this is over.
Yeah.
Because this is not, there's something there.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's chip.
Yeah.
And there's nothing, that's hard to do. That's hard to manage.
Yeah.
And he's been able to do it.
Yeah.
And there's no sign of it slowing down. And I think this is what's scary for college football. There's a little bit of inside information here. I don't think this cat plans to do this for 10 more years.
Right.
So he's about to pour it all out.
Yeah. Get a legacy and get out.
I mean, his legacy
Which is already
he
there.
can walk away today.
Yeah.
2 titles, 3 appearances in the title game.
Done.
I mean,
Yeah.
geez. He's not even 50 yet.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I thought last night everybody was like, "See, the 14 playoff doesn't work," and I think you're missing the point. I really do. I thought you were missing the point when people do that. I thought, no, this wasn't about TCU. This was about Georgia.
It was. Yeah, there's a couple thoughts on that or whatever. We'll get to those in a second. First, and here, this is a good point, too. That is the schedule we currently have for 2024. If Texas and Oklahoma come in, they're going to tear it up and start over. So, I don't know.
Good point.
Yeah.
And they are.
Yeah, so who knows what that looks like. It's
So
just what we know as
that.
of right now. That is the schedule. But it's possible you still keep your other East team and they work. I don't know. Again.
Beats me.
Yeah. That's
well,
really,
I think they'll go to a 9 game.
They will. Yes.
So you'll have to buy out one of your
non-cons.
Probably the lowest non-con.
Yeah. Furman.
Yeah. Furman's going to get a check.
Unless you're getting rid of like Georgia Southern because you're keeping your FCS game.
It's going to be really interesting to see what happens.
Yeah. Either way.
That's going to be a SEC Media Days kind of thing. I think right around then we're going to get an answer on that. I think it's going to be 2024, and here we go.
I think so too. Podcast brought to you in part by Prime Shrimp, primeshrimp.com. 7 different flavors available right there at your door. They ship them to you. Fewer than 10 minutes, freezer to plate with Prime Shrimp. Let them take care of dinner tonight. Their newest offering, the New Orleans-style barbecue shrimp. It's excellent. Their signature seasoning goes with everything, a very versatile option, whether it be rice, pasta, or just maybe put it on a sandwich. A lot of things you can do with Prime Shrimp. Check all their different flavors, including their 2-pound bags of individually frozen shrimp. Those are like what's at the grocery store, except a higher quality from the New Orleans-based company. So code MPW for $20 off your first order with primeshrimp.com.
Step into the new year in style. If you haven't made the move already, you need to experience the difference a quality sock makes. Go to deadsoxy.com, enter the promo code Rebel Grove at checkout. Get 25% off all orders, including sale items. As an MPW digital listener, you're going to be the first to hear about all new products and opportunities as they come about. So enter the promo code Rebel Grove at checkout. Get 25% off all orders. Happy New Year from Dead Soxy. Walk On Sports Bistro puts everything they've got into bringing you game day with the taste of Louisiana. Dig into their mouth-watering, made-from-scratch Louisiana cuisine like po' boys, gumbo, voodoo shrimp, plus fan favorites like juicy burgers and fresh salads, all in front of 70-plus TVs, 40-plus ice-cold beers on tap. Let Walk-Ons take care of your tailgating needs as well. Just order online at walkons.com or on their convenient Walk-Ons app. Check them out in Oxford or Ridgeland today. Speaking of Ridgeland, the College Corner is your one-stop Rebel shop. It's got 2 locations in the Jackson area, one in Ridgeland, one in Flowood. If you don't live in Jackson, just go to collegecornerstore.com. Plus, you can find them on Facebook and Instagram with the largest selection of Rebel gear in Central Mississippi. And we're brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating, different names, but the same great product, same people, same services. If you live in Oxford, Batesville, or the surrounding area, call Comer, 662-801-1777. If you live in Hernando, Memphis, or the surrounding area, call the people at Southern, 662-429-4429. A-Stock Auctions is a Nashville-based online auction company with the mission to provide customers the power to name their price. All items at A-Stock start at just $1. That's right, every item starts at just $1. Shop now at astock.bid or download their app. Name your price on thousands of big-name items from big-name retailers. A-Stock Auctions has multiple locations around Nashville that offer local pickups, so don't miss out. If you want it, bid it, win it.
Podcast also brought to you by G&M Pharmacy, 662-236-2222. They deliver locally in the Oxford area, and they offer MedSync. Fill your prescriptions the same day each month. Take care of you. They can also transfer all your medications from the big box pharmacy. One call, they take care of the rest. So whether it is Tyson Drugs in Holly Springs or G&M here locally in Oxford, that's 662-236-2222. See a couple of things here. I'd be curious to see, I don't know how we know the answer to this, but I was just thinking about it. This season for TCU, I guess they have gotten big enough that they probably won't have the same jump. You know, they were the school, this has been 10 years ago, when Andy Dalton carried them to the Rose Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And Jim Schlossnagle told me when Ole Miss had played them in baseball that next year, that they had the huge academic jump off the Rose Bowl. That the year after that, and I forget the exact number, so don't hold me to them, but TCU basically took, say, 2,000 freshmen every year, and they wanted like some sort of split or whatever, and they did the 2,000 out of, call it 5,000 applications. Well, the year of the Rose Bowl, they still took 2,000, but they did it out of like 22,000 applications or something. Like, so their student population got smarter and more distinguished and whatever. I guess my point is, I know they've been in the Big 12 for a while, but I wonder if they would have some similar jump being a smaller school now, or if they sort of have been in a different thing where that's not the same deal.
It's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how that works for.
It's a lot of exposure to get to that place.
Tons.
I mean,
tons.
I know everybody thinks that was a horrible night for TCU.
Overall, good night. I mean, whatever. You lose. You'd rather be there and lose than not be there.
You were there.
You were there. They will national runner-up.
Forever.
Can't take that away from
Nope.
you. Yeah, they were CUSA. They were Mountain West. I mean, they've jumped in 25 years, maybe sooner than that, but at least 25.
They've climbed a ladder fast. And there's a ton of money there. And they've got good players.
They benefit from SMU being SMU and not ever elevating.
Right.
One of those teams was going to do it, and TCU has done it. They're an interesting athletic department. They've done a good job all the way around.
Oh, for sure.
So yeah, I mean, Garrett Riley's had his profile increase. We know Sonny Dykes is a good coach. Great story. It's a good story.
It's like the first time in 8 years that a Sonny Dykes coach team scored fewer than 10 points.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you see where in the last two games TCU gave up more points in the playoff than Alabama did in the entire 2011 season? It was an Alabama media stat, but I still found the stat interesting.
I mean, they went up against two of the blue bloods, obviously Michigan, Georgia.
Yeah, no, look, the playoff, I don't get the criticism of the playoff at all, because the playoff gave us two great semifinals. We wouldn't have had those otherwise.
Right.
That would not have been the case. The game that we would have had was Michigan-Georgia. And Georgia would have just beaten the shit out of them, and they would have called it a day.
Instead of 65-7, it would have been 52-13.
Oh, you still think it would have been that bad?
Yeah. Last night, yes.
Do you really?
I know what I saw last night.
Because Georgia's just the better, more grown-up version of Michigan.
Georgia played their maxed-out game last night. That was them. That was their top of the level A game. And no one was beating them. They were the best team in the country, and they played their best game.
Yeah.
You weren't beating them.
Right.
The criticisms last night I was watching it going, man, some of you guys are just in your feelings right now. This isn't about what you're making. TCU didn't belong. Yeah, they did. They did. They got there. They lost one time. Or Alabama should be there. Well, then Alabama shouldn't have lost to both LSU and Tennessee. Well, those were one possession games. Okay, well, I can do that with everybody. I mean, pick me a team. I mean, we can do that with like literally pick a team that was a 7 or 8 win team, and I bet I can go find 4 one-possession games.
Yeah, sure.
Well, if you change that, and that, they win 11 games. Okay.
I mean, I think Grind said the thing, 24 teams won 10 games or more this year. 24.
Yeah. I mean, it just doesn't work like that. South Alabama lost 2 one-possession games. Troy lost 2 games, one to Ole Miss and one on a ridiculous, crazy-ass. Yeah. So change that. Do they belong? I mean, how does that work? No, Alabama had its chances, and if it either wins at LSU or at Tennessee, it's playing in that.
Yeah, because Alabama could have lost 5 games. A&M had ball in air. Ole Miss had ball in air.
Yes.
Texas had ball in air.
Yes.
If you're real unlucky, they go 8-5 or 7-5.
Exactly.
Or whatever.
So when people say
they've been in Nashville,
TCU didn't belong. Yes, they did.
They won the games.
They won the games.
Yeah.
All the what if games.
Again, they played 7 one-possession games and they won 6 of them. They lost the one they could lose.
And they beat Michigan.
Okay.
They beat Michigan on a neutral field to get to the championship. They belong.
Yeah.
And Michigan belonged. Nobody at any point goes, well, Michigan didn't belong. Nobody ever said that. Well, TCU beat them. So, yes, they belonged. They just ran into the best team. And that's why I'm saying, and I know I'm broken record at this point, if you're focused on the playoff and who's there and who wasn't there. You missed the point last night, and you're going to fall victim to it again because those sons of bitches aren't backing down.
Two Stetson Bennett stats for you. He's now won back-to-back national titles from walk-on to JUCO at Jones, all the whole story. Again, he's kind of a douchebag, but whatever. He does win 2 titles.
He's a douchebag who'll never have to buy a drink in the state of Georgia.
Whatever he decides to do, if it's in the Peach State, it's going to go remarkably well for Mr. Bennett.
I like his chances.
It's going to be perfectly fine. Nick Saban thinks his car dealership sells some cars. Let Stetson open up one. See how that goes. Insurance, real estate,
Bennett,
whatever.
Mercedes.
Oh, done.
I mean, frankly.
Just printing.
He should start that tomorrow. You think the bank would give him the loan?
Yeah, right.
I'm guessing so. So what I was thinking was, here, just take it.
Yeah, all of it. Here, fine. All right, so the quarterbacks to win back-to-back national titles as starters. Who are they? There have been 1, including Mr. Bennett, 2, 3 this century.
Tim Tebow?
Nope.
Okay. Jay Barker?
Nope. He was not this century. He was in 92.
Oh, 3 this century.
Yes, there are 3 this century. And one of them, I just gave you one of them. It's Stetson Bennett. There are 2 others.
Right.
And one of them is a little weird because he won 2 AP titles, but did not win 2 BCS titles.
Oh, hell.
A season you covered pretty intimately.
Matt Leinart?
That is correct. USC, I mean, I guess I remember this from when it happening, but I had to educate myself on this a little bit. Matt Leinart, they won the 2004 title when they were great.
Right.
In 2003, there were the 3 teams all with 1 loss, and they were the one left out of Oklahoma, LSU, and USC. They were number 1 in the AP poll, won their bowl game, and stayed number 1 in the AP poll. So they are the AP national champions from 2003, even though they did not win the BCS national title.
Okay.
So Matt Leinart, Stetson Bennett, and then one more.
So it's got to be an Alabama quarterback.
That is correct.
AJ McCarron?
That is correct. AJ McCarron is the answer to that question. Since the 1950s, there have been 3 others. Those are Oklahoma's Steve Davis during Oklahoma's big-time run when they were on. Nebraska, Jerry Taggy, I don't know. It's before my time, so I don't know how to pronounce his name. And then also from Nebraska, Tommy Frazier, which is not a surprise. 1994-95 for Frazier there in that one. The other stupid Stetson Bennett stat is that he had 2 rushing touchdowns in a national championship last night. In this century, there are 2 other quarterbacks who have done that. I'm not going to make a guess, but these 3 names all on a list is funny to me. It is Stetson Bennett, Vince Young, and Craig Krenzel are the
Craig Krenzel
are the 3 there. The Ohio State quarterback who I guess won the title over Miami on the controversial pass interference call. Is that 2002?
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So
no, I mean, look, Stetson
rarefied air, dude. And then look, as much as I give giving him crap, his stats against the good teams are incredible.
He was really good.
He's been phenomenal against ranked and top level teams.
He was dialed in last night. He made some tight window throws, and then it all opened up.
Yeah, early on they hit the tight ends in the middle of the field and the whole deal, and it was surgery early. And then
it was. He had it rolling.
Then they started just winning the line of scrimmage, and that was night.
Yeah, I was listening to the end of the pregame, and Nick Saban just sort of cut to the chase. And he said, you have to control their front. To have any chance, you have to control their front. And they didn't. At all. Something wrong?
We were getting an error feed on our YouTube, but I think we're okay. Is yours saying we're good?
Yeah, it's just not getting enough video to maintain smooth streaming. So let's make sure we're on the right. Yeah, it does this deal, and I've got to figure this out.
It go to the other one?
It goes to switch to the other one, and I could switch it, and I'm probably okay, but that's the problem.
Okay. Are you going to switch it?
On
opening day of the NFL next season, will he be on an active roster?
I'll say yes. someone gives him a third-string quarterback spot to see if he's got it. Got a lot of it. Has a better arm than he gets credit for.
He does.
Better athlete than he gets credit for. He's small. But in this era, there are some small quarterbacks. I don't know how badly Stetson Bennett wants to play quarterback in the NFL. My guess is he'd like to experience it, but...
Well, sure. I mean, anybody gets the opportunity.
Boy, if I'm advising him, though, it's like, hey, Cat, you could go make some money. And I think his argument would be, well, the money will still be there 3 years from now.
Well, that's true.
You know,
that legacy is not going anywhere.
And look, who's betting against him? I mean, there was 1,000 times when people were like, you should quit. Was it Jones, Mississippi Community College? I mean, holy shit.
Yeah.
He goes to Georgia, and it's like, okay, we're going to throw this guy at you, and this guy at you, and this guy at you.
He was not the starter at the beginning of last season. And he was going to be the starter this year, but there was at least questions.
Was it in 2020 when they were at Arkansas and they were getting beat with the 5-star kid that started the game, and they brought Bennett in and he took over?
I don't remember. I don't know.
They just kept trying to get rid of him, and he wouldn't go away.
And now, I mean, we're talking as secure of a legacy as any quarterback in the last...
Oh, since Tebow.
Yeah.
His teammates love him. I mean, they talk about his confidence and stuff like that. I mean, look, who knows?
They beat Arkansas 37-10 in 20.
But I think they were losing that game 10-9 when he came in.
Really?
I could be wrong, but I seem to recall that.
Okay. That's very possible because he went 20 for 29 for 211 and a couple scores in that game.
Yeah. He's damn. I mean, look, from a college career standpoint, he had a damn good one. Georgia's now, is it 38-3 or something like that in their last 41 games?
Yeah. And that includes a game they didn't have to win.
Yeah.
So in one of the losses, they won the national title.
Yeah, Mulligan game.
7-5 at halftime.
Yeah. I recalled something about that. Okay, there you go.
Same in this dream. I'm Stetson Bennett of Athens BMW. If you can't see yourself, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's good. Yes. I mean, it's right there. Just make all the money.
Yeah.
Perfectly fine. If you'd like to bet on Georgia to win the national title next season, your odds aren't very good. You're only going to get plus 300 on that one, so you have to put up 100 to win 300 on Georgia to win the national championship next year.
Well, it tells you what Vegas thinks.
Right behind the Bulldogs, Ohio State at plus 600, so 6-1 on the Buckeyes next season. Who's their quarterback next year?
Somebody not named C.J. Stroud.
Yeah. Alabama also at plus 600. Is it worth a 6-1 on Bama next year? I don't think so.
That's not where your value is. I don't think there.
But is there value anywhere?
We'll keep going. I'll see if I can find a value pick.
SC at 700.
Probably not enough, which leads me to something I'm going to say in a minute, but go ahead.
Michigan at 1,000.
If
you threw a flyer, that's where you
That's not a terrible flyer. Corum's coming back.
That's not me predicting Michigan to win the national title.
But if you told me Michigan got back to the playoff and was back in a position to make a run at it, I'd buy it.
They got McCarthy back. They got Corum back. There's dudes.
If he stays.
After that, it's just sort of a hodgepodge. Clemson 1,500.
Nah.
And then we're into big numbers. Texas 2,000. LSU 2,000. Again, if you got a 10 spot, sure.
I don't hate
no.
I don't hate the LSU.
It's not going to hit, but sure. I mean, fine.
If you told me LSU won the West,
yeah,
and
snuck in and
played a Georgia team that didn't have to win the game, and then you win it and you get into the playoff,
and then you get to beat the other team in it, and then it gets funny. Notre Dame,
like you said,
2,000.
I mean, if you just got $100 sitting there and you're like, hey, you know what? This wouldn't be the worst. Okay, sure.
Notre Dame plus 2,000.
No.
Florida State 2,500.
I think they might be a playoff team, but there's a long way away.
They're not winning. They're the team that gets hammered in the playoff. if they get in. No, I mean, you can light the money on fire. Feel free. I understand what you mean.
Yeah.
Tennessee, 3,000.
No.
Penn State, 3,000.
No.
Washington, 3,000.
No.
Oklahoma, 3,000.
Shit.
Sorry. And Oregon, 3,000.
I mean, of those, if you told me I had to do a 3,000, I'd probably.
Because you go, hey, can they get past SC? And then they get in, and then we're doing the whole thing. You just make the tournament.
Well, you get
see what
Nix
happens.
back and all that stuff. And
Is he back?
yeah, he stayed.
Okay. He's old.
He is. I mean, if you told me I had to do a 3,000 odd, that'd be my pick.
So Milton is the quarterback at Tennessee next season?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's good.
He's fine.
No, I mean, look, Tennessee's good. Which leads me to my point.
Yeah.
Someone was asking, when you go to this 12-team playoff, it's inevitable that 3 of the 4 or 4 of the 4 semifinalists are SEC teams. Yes, it is. It is absolutely inevitable.
Oh, yeah, there'll be years where
that's going to happen, and so what? Who cares?
Yeah, no, it's perfectly fine. So, no, I don't. I mean, I don't care about that at all.
The SEC is going to put 5 teams in the playoff every year. It's why if you're an SEC program, again, you should be getting yourself prepared for 24, 25, because those are years that you can, if you're good, if you're upper crust of the SEC, you're probably going to make the playoff.
Yes.
And so that's.
Get ready for that.
Do
all you can to get ready for that.
Instead of whining and bitching about Alabama and Georgia, start paying attention.
Yeah. Get there.
Figure it out. And it's, well, we can't get those players. Well, you can get that culture.
Yeah. That was no doubt. The Ole Miss Athletics Foundation would like to thank Rebel Nation for their incredible support in 2022. Thanks to your generosity, the Champions Now campaign is nearing the $52 million mark. Looking forward to an even bigger year in 2023. For info on supporting Ole Miss Athletics, that is give2athletics.com. Also, as basketball season is going, conference play now for both the men's and women's teams, you can show your support for their efforts on the court by signing up for the Pledge Per Win campaign today. Sign up to pledge a specific amount for every Rebel win and earn blue priority points through every donation. You can visit give2athletics.com/donate. Call the Ole Miss Athletics Foundation at 662-915-7159.
Solutions RX is a probiotic multivitamin supplement company created by Ole Miss Pharmacy alum Chris Cornelison. I've been taking some of the Solution RX products for the past, 8, 9, 10 months. I don't know that I've ever felt better. It's solutionsrx.com. Check them out online. They're also available in local independent pharmacies across the continental U.S., including Mississippi. Promo code OEP at checkout, and you'll get 10% off your order. Game Changer patches, the only 2-patch system available in the market to stop hangovers before they start. I bet those are going like gangbusters in Fort Worth this morning. The warm-up patch used before or while you drink. The overtime patch is used after you've been drinking to recover while you sleep. The all-natural ingredients will keep you in the game and ready for the next play. GameChangerPatch.com, promo code RebelGrove20 at checkout for 20% off your purchase. ACS is owned by my friend Clay McNutt in Baldwin, Mississippi. It's established in 2013. It's a complete electrical control system solution provider, a Rockwell Automation recognized system integrator. If ACS has you covered, if you're servicing and installing Rockwell Automation, Allen Bradley, Siemens, ABB, Square D, and so many other manufacturers. For more information or to get in touch with them at ACS, go to acsllcms.com or call 662-601-4381. Valentine's Day right around the corner. You should stop by Lammon's Fine Jewelry in Oxford, 1126 North Lamar Boulevard. It's been servicing the Oxford area for 3/4 of a century. They've got you covered from obviously the obvious things like engagement rings and wedding rings to fine jewelry, watches, pearls, fashion jewelry, children's jewelry, gifts, collectibles, and more. It's the gold standard in fine jewelry. Visit them at lamonsfinejewelry.com or call them at 662-234-2777. And we're brought to you by Pinnacle. Get in touch with Pinnacle today and ask about the Pinnacle 401k advisory services team. They'll conduct a complimentary, no-obligation benchmarking and analysis of your current 401k plan. You can learn more at mypinwealth.com, MYPINN wealth.com.
Podcast also brought to you by Johnston Hill Creamery. They make all their cheeses locally and in-house every single day. Charcuterie, catering, grazing tables. They do their workshops and more. You can find them at 662-419-9201. Go to their website. Almost everything can be ordered straight there, including king cakes. It is king cake season. They have their new blueberry cheesecake flavor. They have all the different flavors from the lemon to the cinnamon swirl that you're used to from last year as well. They do minis, they do larges. They just need 24 hours notice to get that to you. So take advantage of the king cakes and all their different offerings. That's johnsonhillcreamery.com. Again, just off Molly Bar in Oxford, 662-419-9201. Seeing game times for Ole Miss baseball announced this morning. There is some overlap on that February 18th, that game that we've talked about. Basketball against Mississippi State at home. It's a 2:30 start for basketball. It is a 1:30 start for baseball that day. Again, just kind of one to point to kind of see where everybody's headed there. If the weather's good, that's more competitive than you would think.
I don't even think the weather has to be good.
Just not snowing.
If the game gets played.
If the game gets played.
I mean, if you're basketball, you're cheering for a rain out. I guess. I mean, look, I'm fascinated to see what tonight looks like. Auburn tonight at 8:00. I think it's ESPNU televising the game. What does that look like?
I mean, tonight's not going to be a good crowd. I mean, I know that going in. There's no students, and it's 8:00. I mean,
a year ago,
I'm giving them a break on this one.
A year ago, it was on a Saturday night, and Auburn brought 3,000 people. Auburn won't bring anybody this time. Tennessee on the 28th brought a bunch of people. I get it. I feel like I'm being mean. I'm trying not to. I'm trying to just be real. You play SEC games. Those SEC games have to have people, bodies in arenas, or else you have to ask, why are there no bodies here? And going, well, it's an 8:00 game on a Tuesday night. Everybody else plays them too. And then Saturday with Georgia coming to town. Games at what, 12:30? Noon.
Yeah. I think it's noon.
Something like that.
I have the schedule up.
It's in the noon hour. 12:30, 12, something like that.
It's 12:00.
12:00.
Throwback replica jersey giveaway, by the way.
So if you're not
going to the game tonight, they are asking that you wear red. I'm saying that on the schedule. So yeah, 8:00 tonight, Georgia. But yeah, the two games that I was interested in from a baseball throwover standpoint, State and State on the 18th at home. Again, there is a carryover there, and then the next one is not LSU basketball on the 25th. Is a night game. It's at 7:30. Ole Miss plays Maryland at 1:30 p.m. In Oxford for that one. So
the question is, that day is the people
dinner or basketball.
Yeah, just do you go do something else? I mean, can you get people to go to a basketball game? They've been at a baseball game. Starts at 1:30, so it's over at
4:45.
The earliest.
They did better last year. They were quicker.
4:45 to 5:00. So they leave a basketball game and they go get a drink or whatever. Can you get them 2 hours later to go to an arena?
Mm-hmm.
Can you get them to drive back to campus and park and walk and go to a game? Or do they say, no, we're going to go do something in town? And I don't know the answer to that. But if the answer to that is I can't get those people who are already here into an arena, then I have a problem.
That's part of the weird scheduling quirk Ole Miss has this year where they play Maryland 4 weekend games in a row. They play Friday through Sunday in Oxford, and then they are their opening game of the tournament in Minneapolis as well. So they play.
Be a hell of a rivalry by the time they
play
the
Terps Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Friday. So we'll have the same pitching matchup 2 weeks in a row with Maryland. And
you don't know that Maryland might be so deep that
they might switch it up. I don't think Mike's going to go, you know what? They've already seen Hunter Elliott. We're gonna throw somebody else out there today. We're gonna go a different direction.
Probably not
in that game.
Probably not.
We're gonna play chess, not checkers here. And,
they're playing at the Vikings Stadium.
They are, yes. Yeah. They are turning the Vikings Stadium into a game. I'm sure it's out there. I don't know who the third SEC team is. The 3 Big Ten teams, Maryland, Minnesota, and Nebraska. So that will be Ole Miss's opponents. And I know Vanderbilt is with Ole Miss there, but I don't know who the third one is. So
I don't know.
Me neither. Speaking of, the baseball convention is currently going on. We knew this was going to happen, but John Cohen has been elevated to the chair of the NCAA selection committee for baseball for this coming season. He was the vice chair last year. Mike Buddy at Army was the chair, and now Cohen has been elevated to the chair. So
he'll do a good job.
Oh, it'd be completely fine.
He's fine.
Yeah, what I mean.
It's so the one thing I'm so glad about this baseball season is we can take all the stuff and just throw it away. The conspiracies and the stuff, it's just gone. Seriously, like none of that where I feel like I'm just banging my head against a wall. Just going to win or lose games. Play games. Get hot, get cold.
You say that. I'm kidding. See, told you couldn't do it again.
If you're on the no. I won't. I will not participate.
Too high, too low. Top 25 for next season. I get it stupid. We don't even know rosters, but just because it's going to fill a minute here on the show.
Sure.
Georgia number 1, whatever. We're all agreement there.
Yep.
Michigan number 2.
Sure.
I have no issue there.
No, it's
fine. Got a lot of guys back.
Sure.
Ohio State number 3.
Okay.
They bring back Marvin Harrison Jr. You got Julian Fleming back. Got Travion Henderson back.
Well, there's tons of talent. Sure.
LSU number 4.
I don't have a problem with it. I think they're going to be really, really good.
I think I'm okay there.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
They're loaded. Listen, Brian Kelly's going to.
Daniels is back.
Brian Kelly's going to win at LSU. Everybody might as well just accept it. Again, it gets back into the whole deal of people going to start in on that. Well, it's easy if you can buy. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It's legal to buy now.
Yeah.
So shut up. Figure it out.
Alabama at number 5.
Sure.
Yeah, that's any lower than that. We're stupid.
It might be a hair high, but look, you do what they've done.
Here's the problem: if it's a hair high, who are we replacing them with?
Right.
That's the issue.
You get to be where they've done for 15 years. They deserve that level of respect.
But they got questions.
Sure.
Is it Simpson or is it the other kid?
My money is on Simpson, but We'll see.
Penn State at 6.
Maybe a little high, but they
went 11-2. They were sneaky 11-2.
He's really good.
SC number 7.
Sure.
Yeah, I got no issues. Florida State at 8.
I have no problem with it. They've got a really good team coming back. Not a titled team, but a good team.
Their quarterback will spend the offseason getting some of that sleepy, sneaky Heisman buzz, some stuff like that.
Yeah.
It won't happen, but he'll get the.
They're really good on both lines of scrimmage. He's done a really good job of building that in Tallahassee. They're the best ACC team for sure.
Washington at 9.
Okay.
They had a good year.
Yeah.
He's a hell of a coach.
Oh, he's a really good coach.
TCU at 10.
Okay.
I'm going to guess there's a fall off. You can't go 6-1 in one possessions every year. I think this is high. I think this is a reward, and I have no issue, but it's high. If you told me to predict whether or not TCU finishes the season in the top 10, I'm selling next year.
Okay.
Notre Dame at 11. They're always there, whatever. Sure.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
it's probably a hair high, but we're splitting hairs at this
Utah
point.
at 12.
Okay. Rising's coming back.
He is.
Guy's a hell
as long as he's okay injury-wise.
The guy's a hell of a coach.
Oregon at 13.
They might actually be a little low. They might be better than that.
Yeah, I'm good with them higher. Tennessee at 14.
It feels about right. If you tell me they finished a little higher than that, I buy it.
Clemson at 15.
Oh,
it's Cade Klubnik's team now.
If you tell me they begin to fall off the cliff, I buy it.
Oregon State 16.
Phew, I liked what I saw from them.
You know, if this is all true, the Pac-12 is interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Utah, SC, Oregon State.
Pac-12 wasn't terrible this year.
Oregon.
It wasn't the SEC, but nothing is.
It was interesting.
It was good. It was good. They have good teams.
Kansas State at 17.
Okay. I mean, they got to replace a bunch of dudes, but he's a really good coach.
I mean, we like that family a ton, but losing Deuce Vaughn is a chore.
Yeah,
for them.
He's really good. I mean, that's a culture program.
Your Hawkeyes at 18.
Oh, I mean,
they got work to do.
We might win the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. They did have the number 1 defense in the country in 22.
I told you that.
Yeah.
I kept saying everyone made the jokes, but the shame of this past season for Iowa was that if their offense had just been pedestrian, they might win 10, 11 games.
They
were elite defensively.
Cade McNamara will be their quarterback next year, the Michigan transfer.
Yeah, they'll be better.
Luke Fickell at 19 in his first year with the Badgers. We're getting into kind of whatever, so sure.
Got a lot of players.
Yeah, but they, the kid from SMU is their quarterback next year, Tanner Mordecai.
Oh, is that
transferred to Wisconsin.
What's he, like 30 now?
North Carolina, number 20. If you got Drake May, I'll give you a 20.
Okay, sure.
Texas Tech at 21.
I mean, I don't know enough to argue it.
Ole Miss at 22. I don't know the roster.
It's impossible.
I don't know any of these rosters mostly. But
today, 22 feels high. In 2 weeks, 22 might feel low. I don't. Yeah. I mean, I got questions.
It came in about where I thought they would come in, and that's why. Again, does it matter? Hell no. But it's why I thought if you said what does the bowl game do? It gives you 3 to 4 spots in the top 25. If Ole Miss was 9-4 instead, they'd be like 18 on this list instead of 22.
Sure. And I'd still say the same thing.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. What do they look like on the edge? They have to replace Tavius Robinson. What do they look like at linebacker? Because right now today, I don't really like what they look like at linebacker. No, and that's been a problem. What do they look like at receiver? Are there enough receivers?
UTSA at 23.
I just don't know enough.
They're headed into the AAC. I didn't know that.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be a wake-up call.
Quarterback Frank Harris is coming back for his 7th season at UTSA.
Oh. Okay.
Stetson goes, yeah, I know. Got some years left. Tulane, 24. They lose a lot.
They lose a lot. They do bring the quarterback back, Pratt, and there's clearly
They have 9 all-conference players returning from the American Conference.
I mean, look, you talk about culture and things of that nature. They've got it.
And also, this is not to be overstated, that league is changing so much. They greatly benefit from the fact that Cincinnati and UCF are gone.
Yeah.
So the schedule is easier for Tulane next season.
The first part of their schedule's not. South Alabama and Ole Miss to open it up.
Yeah, you got to hold them.
You'll know who you are.
Yeah.
At the end of that.
It'll get easier.
Sure.
A&M, 25.
Frankly,
they're an unknown at 25. It's fine.
Probably low.
Yeah.
Probably better than that.
Yeah. I get proof of concept, but
I get all the jokes. It's a really talented roster.
I know. But I couldn't sit there if I was doing the poll and put them 8 either.
No.
And go, come on.
No.
They got to prove it.
But now, if you told me, okay,
if one is missed by more than 10 spots, it's A&M.
I'm probably going them.
Yeah. I get that.
I mean, Jimbo's got to stay out of Petrino's way, but there's a lot there.
I guess Tulane has not released their full schedule, or they don't know. Do they not know it because the Americans had so much change?
Be my assumption.
Okay. I went to FBSschedules.com, and for Tulane in 23, they only have the first 3 games listed. It's South Al at home, Ole Miss at home, and then at Southern Miss. So I don't know what's beyond that.
That league might have some chaos.
Well, no, all those leagues are just bouncing all over the place at this point. So, they do. There's no doubt about that. There is it's a random thing here, and I'm just saying this before we get to break, and then we'll come back and talk about something else. But I was reading from The Athletic this morning. There is a path for the entire Big 12 to make the NCAA tournament.
Really?
For every team to get in from that league.
Okay.
Yeah, they laid out a path this morning where they could all.
There's just no dog team in that league.
No, that's pretty good. Keeps your RPIs up.
Oh, that's for sure. Basketball's the one sport where you don't want the other teams in your conference to suck.
You don't want icebergs. Let's just run through it.
Yeah, it's where the football mentality has never quite kicked in with basketball. In football, you want the rest of the league to suck.
Yeah.
In basketball, you don't, because it reduces it increases your margin for error exorbitantly.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you are a bubble team and you go to South Carolina and lose, and with their 263 net, you're done. You don't want that. You want South Carolina's net to be 63, not 263. You want everybody in the top 100.
They are not. The Mets are not out of it, but now Carlos Correa is talking to the Minnesota Twins about a contract.
Feels like that's where that's headed.
I like their chances right now.
Of course, if you're the Twins and you're sitting in the room, right? If you're around the table,
I need all what they knew.
Hey guys, just a question, because we have less margin for error financially than those two organizations. If the Giants flagged it and the Mets flagged it, why are we not flagging it?
The Mets, who will spend anything, and they said, "Whoa, hold on a minute."
Right. The Mets owner was like, "That's just money."
Yeah, because the Twins get crippled.
Yeah, I mean, if you pay,
it's over.
If you're paying Carlos Correa $30 million a year, and then he can't play 4 years down the road, or because of that plate in his ankle, he's only a DH.
I mean, frankly,
it's a real gamble for them.
Well, they're one of those franchises that paying the crazy amount might not be worth it, even if he does produce, because you simply can't put enough around him to win at the high enough level, especially in baseball where one guy's not basketball.
I mean, if you get Carlos Correa, the superstar, and this turns out that the Mets doctors and the Giants doctors are wrong.
It's Drew Brees. And
sure.
Yeah.
But you got to ask, what if they're right?
Yeah, I know. Podcast brought to you in part by Northeast Spark, NESPARC. Service people across rural communities. 2 packages, the Ignite, the 100 Mbps, or the Blaze, the 1 gig that powers the Clark Ford studio. Your hometown team, world-class broadband. That's nespark.com. 662-238-3159. Phone service, parental controls, network security, and much more. So again, all of Fayette County and parts of Pontotoc or Union counties did not previously have internet. 662-238-3159.
Brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. This is pretty simple. If you're thinking about traveling, you're thinking about a trip this summer maybe, you want something that's going to create a lifetime of unique memories, get in touch with John. Just give him some parameters, give him a budget. He's going to give you options. You don't have to live anywhere near Memphis to take advantage of his services. We did this on the whole road to Boise thing. We had a budget basically from our friends at Monster and Rain. Gave that to John and said, "What can you do?" And he did it. It was so easy. It can be easy for you as well. 901-494-3387 or jedwards@regencytravel.net. Check out OPA next time you're coming to town, whether it's for baseball, basketball, both. Check out OPA on the square. It's the newest Greek restaurant, fabulous food, craft libations, and more at OPA on the square in Oxford. I'll have a mailbag to you tomorrow. At some point, it's brought to you by Whitney McNutt of Tommy Morgan Incorporated Realtors, serving you for all your real estate needs in Oxford and Tupelo. Whitney sells condos, land, commercial, and residential family homes. You can reach her at 662-567-2573 or 662-842-3844. Brought to you by Service Specialist Staffing and Recruiting Agency. They've been connecting great job opportunities to candidates since 1967. We've talked a lot about if you're on the job hunt and how they can help you, and it's always free for the candidate. Know this, if your company is looking to hire quality, hard-to-find talent, you don't pay unless you hire someone that they brought to you. So you've got nothing to lose. It's Will, Sydney, or Kelsey, 662-832-5138, or check out their website, servicespecialistltd.com. Don't just accept what you see, but imagine something new. Step forward, chase after a better version of yourself every day. Corinth Dental is helping people reinvent themselves one smile at a time. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative, state-of-the-art procedures, including Invisalign. These clear aligners are the virtually invisible way to improve your smile. So call Corinth Dental today for a no-cost digital scan of your teeth. Let them show you the way to a straighter, healthier smile. 12 months, no interest, no down payment. Financing is available at corinthdental.com. And we're brought to you by Southern Traditions Farm. It's a 68-acre, 32-stall upscale equestrian training and boarding facility in Canton, Mississippi. They've got 2 sand rings, a grass ring, miles of wooded trails, so much offered at Southern Traditions, including horseback riding offerings, nationally recognized competitions, and much, much more. To learn more, go on Facebook or Instagram at Southern Traditions farm.
Little stat for you here, and I guess if you really think about it for a second, knew this. Bill Belichick coming back for another season next year. The Patriots are 25-25 in his last 50 regular season games.
Yeah, they've fallen off quite a bit. He's 70 years old.
70.
They don't feel anywhere close to a Super Bowl.
Is he the coach in 24? Feels like one more for some reason, doesn't it?
My guess is no, he's not.
If they look like we think they're going to look. It's not getting any easier.
Yeah, it's just that division just gets really hard. You got Buffalo in it now. You got Jacksonville in it. Well, Jacksonville's in the South. You got Buffalo in it. Miami's better. I mean, you look in the AFC, the Chargers feel like they're coming. The Bengals don't look like they're going away. The Ravens are still solid.
Some other teams are at least willing to jump in there. I mean,
the Broncos might go get Sean Payton. Just the league, that conference just gets better and better. It feels like they're slipping.
Maybe we can get Russell Wilson.
Why not?
It's all good. Sammy mentioned it. You've all excited to watch the Golden Globes tonight to see if Tom can pull a Best Picture in for Maverick.
I don't think you could drag me to the Golden Globes.
Do you not?
No. Are you interested at all?
No, I don't see enough of the movies. I mean, maybe if I was really into it, but I haven't. It used to be kind of a thing, but I don't think.
Will he win? Or was that movie not?
They're saying there's a chance.
Because that movie wasn't woke at all.
That's the problem with the Oscars and the Golden Globes is that nothing else is. You don't know what anybody like. It's a crapshoot.
I mean, mainstream America loved Top Gun Maverick, but it was kind of patriotic.
Yeah,
and that's a no-go for those types. I'll be shocked if he wins a bunch of awards or any awards.
The question is going to be, I'm wondering, and I don't know the answer to this. I know so little about the Oscars, the Golden Globes. Somebody could tell me I'm crazy and whatever. My hunch is that the Fabelmans do really well tonight. That's the Fabelmans. It's the Steven Spielberg movie that's essentially about his life, sort of.
Oh, I'm today years old when I heard of it.
My gut is again, I haven't even seen the other three movies and don't know anything about them, but that would be where I would guess if I had to throw there.
That just shows you how completely out of touch with it I am.
Yeah, you're
but
not.
I bet I'm more representative of the general public than
sure.
I think I am.
Well, it made like $1.6 billion. Yeah, I mean, it's the motion picture drama movies tonight: Avatar, The Way of Water, Elvis, The Fabelmans, Tar, and Top Gun Maverick are the contenders.
Okay.
I'm seeing if Maverick is anywhere else.
What is Tar about?
I don't know. Again, that's one of the ones I know very little about at all. The only other category tonight that Maverick is in is Best Original Song, and it's Hold My Hand by Lady Gaga from Top Gun Maverick. Okay. So he is in that category as well.
I like her chances.
Okay. Think she got a shot tonight?
She's got a shot.
There's a song by Taylor Swift, From Where the Crawdads Sing. A couple that I don't know. A Pinocchio song from a movie. Rihanna has a song in that category from Wakanda Forever, the Marvel movie.
Okay.
And another movie that I've never heard of. I don't know. So, yeah. That's where we are. A couple movies that we at least heard about or we know. The best television series for a drama tonight. The nominees: Better Call Saul, The Crown, House of the Dragon, Ozark, and Severance are on the list.
That's pretty heady competition.
That's a big category. Look, prestige TV is a category. You better show up if you're winning one of those.
Yeah.
For them.
When does the next Ted Lasso come out? They keep pushing it back.
I haven't even seen a date. I think they're filming, but I don't.
Okay.
I have not seen a date on that. So, tease at the beginning. Trevor Bauer.
Yep.
The Dodgers have said no go on them. Essentially, they are on the hook for his contract next season. If a team picks him up, they can pick him up for the league minimum, which is $700 and change, and get him. The Dodgers would owe the rest. That's the way this thing works. There's an interesting story on ESPN with a bunch of agents having different thoughts on what would happen. There were some that said no shot, nobody's touching him, and
Right.
some that said, it just takes one, and somebody will buy the arm and deal with the rest later. No criminal charges.
Yeah.
3 women have sent allegations. And it's a weird sentence, so let me get through it, but this matters to Major League Baseball, or teams, I guess I should say, is that he's shown no contrition at all. He's fought it vigorously.
In fact, he has said he did nothing
again,
wrong.
Criminally, he's innocent. I mean, it's a weird thing here. It's also coming on the heels of the Deshaun Watson thing that is kind of amazing that he got through it back to football the way that he did with all of the allegations against him. And these 2 leagues handling it so differently. There's a couple thoughts here. One, I do think things have changed overall in society over the last 4 to 5 years, where these things are taken more seriously. You don't just get the free pass out of it the way you would have in most scenarios. Again, I get Watson is a big but, what if, what about deal over here. My guess is, however, though, that in 2023, Aroldis Chapman would not have pitched for the Cubs compared to 2016.
I think that's true.
I think that things have changed to a degree where, and I think for whatever reason, baseball, it's really kind of interesting because football is like this number one king, but baseball seems to be more aware of and care more about fan reaction and sort of the background of, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. And I want to be careful that I'm not defending Bauer, because the whole idea, everybody has their own thing. That's to say that's not mine would be the understatement of all time. Like, the whole choking and beating up and stuff is like bizarre. I don't with at least one, and probably the most high profile of the accusers, there's just no proof. And so I'm not defending him when I say, well, do you apologize for something that you didn't do?
Here's the deal. I completely get what you're saying. And look, it's not easy. He probably would be pitching right now if he simply had said, I'm sorry that I put you in an uncomfortable position. It's not saying I did anything legally wrong.
Well, no, because legally.
No, I get it.
Legally,
I am sorry that it elevated and I made you, that there was he's pitching today if he had been public.
Did Deshaun Watson do that?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I've got a big red flag over here, but I don't. I'm just talking about.
What is the difference?
I think it's baseball versus football.
Okay. You don't think it's like political? Because I do.
Not all 32 teams are going to care about that to the point they don't get this arm. I mean, it only takes one. I mean,
it only takes one.
It's so damn competitive that if I can get a Cy Young winner. Look, it all matters, though. I mean, all this is about how you're perceived. I mean, it's anything. I mean, it's not like Colin Kaepernick.
So if you're
it's two things. It's what do you provide and what do you cost?
If you're in a front office today and you're having that meeting and someone says, let's talk about this Bauer thing. To me, it's going to depend on where I am, what market I'm in. But I am going to be tempted to go, guys, the news cycle goes so fast. It goes so fast.
Yeah, for me, simply, it's about, can I get him through his career here, and is he not going to do anything else stupid?
Yeah.
Moving forward.
Yeah. No, I mean, now before I do anything, I've got to sit down with him, with his agent, with those people and go, hey, look.
And I think that's part of it, is that right or wrong, he is perceived as such a loose cannon.
Right.
That they're like, hell, I don't know.
Right.
Because, again, he does all this vlog series. You don't know what he's just going to say on one of these damn videos.
Sure.
Again, it's great content. I'm not criticizing it. But
I might be able to add a 20-game winner for $770,000.
I know.
I mean, at the end of the day, in October, my fan base is screaming about one thing. Why did we not make the playoffs?
I know.
And he's an ace.
It's why, look, I could easily be wrong. My guess is the team grits their teeth and does it. I could be wrong. A lot of agents say there's no shot. But a couple agents go,
Well, like
when he gets down to it.
Here's kind of what I'm waiting on. About May 1st, when pick a team, any team, gets off to a start, and someone in the organization goes, if we just had one more pitcher, or, hey, we just lost our ace. Our ace blew his arm out. We're not going to win with this staff. There's two different things, right? Or
Sure.
a team gets off to a kind of a surprising start, and you go, man, we might be able to strike gold here. We've got to pay him the prorated percentage of the major league minimum. And it also lets you, if you bring him in and he does something stupid, you just cut him. See you. What's that? We're on the hook now for $400,000 or whatever. To a Major League Baseball team, it's like a dime to you and me.
Oh, well, sure.
You know what I mean? I think you're right about the contrition part, but I think if he had not, I think he's paying the price also for being more outspoken about some of the COVID stuff and some of that stuff.
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean,
I think he's paying for that.
And I think it's a couple different things. I think it's probably the exact content that he's saying, and I think it's adding to his, God, we don't know what's next with this guy. We just don't know what's coming. He's seen as a loose cannon, whether he is or isn't.
Someone in the stream makes
Marcelo Ozuna's a good comp.
And he's still playing.
Yeah. He was out for a year.
He's a loose cannon.
Yeah.
Look, again.
He's not publicly a loose cannon.
But this is these are professional sports.
Yeah, sure.
There are some wonderful guys in professional sports.
Oh, sure.
There are a ton of creeps in professional sports.
Again, it's nobody says the quiet part out loud, and if you can keep it hidden, they move on and grit their teeth and act like it doesn't exist. And when it becomes public, it becomes a completely different scenario.
If I walk into any NFL locker room today,
come on.
Now I can find 10, 15 guys that salt of the earth.
Yeah, deacons. Great.
And I can find 10, 15 guys who I would not let in my house.
Yeah, sure.
Because I would just not trust what would happen.
Yeah. Sure.
And that applies in college football programs, college basketball programs, everything across the board. It's just because you're a great athlete doesn't mean you're a great guy.
Look, and again, this was years ago, and people are mostly much stricter today. Ray Rice, again, not a good human being at all. He got penalized. And then once the video got brought out that had the exact thing in it that they said was in it, he got penalized again.
Right.
It's different when it gets public. Every level publicly.
Isn't that funny? The Ravens said, no, not on Ray Rice, but Ray Lewis, come on.
Well, again, this is not.
It's just
this
crazy.
is not protecting or saying anything positive about Ray Rice. He seems to be a bad dude.
Well, yeah.
Seems to be an awful dude.
If you punch a woman in the elevator, you're a bad dude.
Yeah, but there is part of me that goes, hold on a minute, though. You already knew that.
Right.
That feels like double jeopardy to me. It's like,
well, in many ways, it was. That should have been your reaction from minute one.
Yeah. Yeah. If that's what you knew happened, then punish it, whatever that level of punishment is.
What's interesting to me is that Major League Baseball, the Dodgers had hoped that they would hold up the 2-year suspension. And then when it didn't, because Major League Baseball, an independent arbiter, looked at it and said, it's not enough here for that.
Yeah, gave him time served, and that was it.
Basically just let this go. This needs to go away.
Mm-hmm. And they were caught off guard. They thought it was going to come sometime in January, and they had not even really gotten together to talk about it yet. And then we're like, oh, crap. Okay, let's figure it out.
But the Dodgers knew this was a potential because it was the reason that they didn't get involved in the Correa thing.
Yes.
They used the whole fan reaction to Correa as an excuse, but really what it was financial.
Yeah. So, again, Ole Miss, Auburn tonight, 8 o'clock start for that one from the Pavilion. Ken Palm has Auburn winning 66-63. They're giving Auburn a 60% chance.
Yeah, the line's only 2.5.
It's only 2.5. Auburn on adjusted efficiency is 100 and they're 59th on offense, 15th on defense.
Yeah,
are the Tigers, and then the Rebels in those categories. 128th on offense and 49th on defense are the rankings there. So
it's broken record. The concern if you're thinking about betting on Ole Miss tonight, it's not a terrible bet. Again, Kermit's teams play Bruce Pearl's teams extremely well historically, dating past the Ole Miss Auburn matchups.
sure.
The problem is Ole Miss so far this season has a hard time scoring, and Auburn's very active on defense.
Yeah. Now Auburn can go into lulls too offensively, so it can become a rock fight. But
Bruce's concern as he wakes up this morning in Oxford is, can I get my team to play with some semblance of the energy on the road that it does at home?
right.
And the other night, they had this packed house. It was rowdy. They were juiced up as a fan base for Arkansas. Well, you're going to have to create, if you're Auburn, create that energy internally tonight, because you're not going to get that atmosphere, and it's not going to be at your place.
Right.
And you're not playing a team that, in their eyes, kind of punked you last year.
Yeah. So, I mean, Ole Miss 297th in three-pointers, by the way. Auburn's 310.
Yeah,
So there's two teams that do not shoot.
which was the odd thing about Saturday night. Auburn was making some shots. That was like, whoa,
Yeah.
man, you haven't been making those all year, which tells you the power of home crowd and why it's important. And I mean, to full circle in the basketball conversation, if you're the decision makers and you don't have that energy in your building ever, you have to ask why. And then you have to figure out a way to get it, because it does matter. In that sport, it might matter more than in any other sport.
Got to get boards. That's the thing for Ole Miss tonight. If they're going to win a basketball game, Auburn, looking at it here, they are ninth in the country in offensive rebounds. So you cannot give them second chances whatsoever here tonight in this one. So 8 o'clock, Auburn, Ole Miss, part of a 2-game homestand for the Rebels. They play Georgia at noon on Saturday. Mike White headed back to the Pavilion. So more podcasts coming throughout the week. Appreciate everybody in the stream as always. Take care. Have a good day, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.